Hi, hello. Welcome to the most comprehensive preparation platform for all competitive exams, BYJU'S Exam Prep. And welcome to this Coffee with Concept series. All dear friends, I hope your preparation is going well and I believe you are enjoying this Coffee with Concept series by learning all important concepts just quickly, right? So today I would be giving the concept types of DNS servers, which is very important, interesting concept from computer networks. Okay, myself Satya, and I hold these credentials as you know, many of you. If anyone are new for my session, you can just find my details here. I am Satya with 15 plus years of teaching experience and all the other credentials. Right. Now, guys, what is DNS? Before we understand types of DNS servers, what is DNS? Whenever you want to browse internet, you want to browse Facebook, Google, you want to check your email, or you want to do some online transaction, or you want to do some online shopping. So whenever you want to use internet, you require IP address, right? But we never know or type the IP address of Google or Facebook or some bank website, isn't it? We never know. Then how that particular server is able to send the requested web pages to us? So there comes this DNS role. So this DNS stands for domain name system. And what it is like a telephone directory for the internet, you can say. Like whenever we want to find, contact someone, when we want to contact someone with a phone number, where we search in the telephone directory. In the same way, whenever we want an IP address of some particular server or computer, the telephone directory for this internet is domain name system, DNS server. So it is a directory service that provides mapping between name of host on the network and its numerical address. What is that numerical address is? IP address. IP address. And it is required for the functioning of the internet, because without IP address, communication is definitely not possible in the wide area network. And if that IP address should be resolved, definitely DNS is required. And this DNS will follow a hierarchical structure. That's why we call it as a tree. In that hierarchy, there will be a root, siblings, leaves, right, in a tree. In the same way, this DNS hierarchy also maintain domain name, full domain name, and a sequence of symbols specified by dots, like www dot, google dot, co dot in. So there is a hierarchy in the URL, right? So that hierarchy is resolved in the DNS, and it translates domain name to IP address. So basically DNS, domain name system, is for converting, translating domain names into IP addresses. Okay, how it happens? Definitely, there would be some servers who are maintaining these IP addresses. They are what we call as DNS servers. And there is, you will find two classifications, guys, for this DNS servers. There would be two classifications and both are valid. What are those two classifications? The first classification, if you look at the first classification, the first types of, there are four types of DNS servers as per the first classification. One is recursive resolver, the other is root name server, the other is top level domain name server, and the fourth type of DNS server is authoritative DNS server. So as per classification 1, there are 4 types of DNS servers. We say recursive resolver, root name server, top level domain name server, and authoritative name server. And there is another classification you find. What is that other classification? As per this, there are 3 types. What are they? Primary DNS server, secondary DNS server, and guess what is the other? Caching DNS server. Both are valid, and you can't take like there are 7 types. It's not like that. These are 2 perspectives, 2 classifications. Okay, let's see about classification 1 quickly. So as per the classification 1, we are having 4 types of DNS servers, right? Recursive resolver. I think this image is visible for everybody, right? Okay. So the first type is recursive resolver, then root name server, then TLD server, and then authoritative server. So you see, observe this diagram carefully. On our computer, we open the browser and type URL and hit enter key. Right? In our computer browser cache, if this particular URL mapped IP address is saved, okay, then the IP address is what returned. Let's say you are typing some URL as www.example.com. If for this example.com the IP address is already, you have already browsed this website earlier in your session, okay, then that IP address could be saved in the cache memory, like you say caching server. So that is, you can say this is like your local DNS server, or this is one which communicate with the other external servers. So the first step is, whenever in the browser you type URL and hit enter key, it is searched in the caching server. If it is not available, then this will take the responsibility to contact root name server. Like it is asking root name server, do you have this particular domain's IP address? If yes, that IP address is sent as a response. If no, what this root name server will do? It will give you the address of top level domain name server. Okay. So in this top level domain name server, you will generally find the segregation of .com, .edu, .gov. This kind of segregation you will find. Once that particular domain related number is retrieved, so once the top level domain name server is contacted, that is giving the domain number as a response, then, but actually in that .com there are google.com, yahoo.com, facebook.com, BYJU'S So which one, which subdomain you want to contact, that is resolved, and finally authoritative name server will respond with complete IP address. Complete IP address. So it is all a request response game, and it can happen in a iterative manner or recursive manner. Iterative manner, recursive manner. Means there is no need to send request from DNS resolver to TLD server, DNS resolver to authoritative, DNS resolver to root name. So it need not to be iterated from the resolver. Recursively it can happen. So there are two ways to extract this number. Okay. So as per the classification 1, these 4 types of DNS servers we have: resolver, root level, top level, authoritative. And as per the other classification, primary, secondary, caching. What are they? Quickly let us understand. First, primary DNS server. Authoritative server. We call this as primary DNS server. All administrative tasks associated with the zone, because all our networks are organized into zones, and domains also. We have generic domains, inverse domains, we have different types of domains. Okay, so all administrative tasks associated with the zone, means with the cluster, such as creating subdomains or other similar tasks, must be done on the primary server. Like you can say, management activity of domains is done by this primary server. Authoritative server is a primary server. So now you might have understood, at least these are not two types, they can overlap, two classifications. Okay, and in addition to this management activities, any changes to the zone files or modifications, additions to this recursive resolvers in the zone must be carried out on the primary server. Means it is responsible to commit all the modifications, all the changes to the zone files. Then what is the secondary DNS server? It is a backup of primary, because you know the network traffic would be too high and there is a possible threats in the internet. So there will be always a backup is maintained, and you will always have for every zone one primary DNS server, but you can have as many as or multiple secondary DNS servers. One primary, multiple secondary DNS servers. So what is this secondary server? It's a backup. It's a backup. So all zone file transfers, a zone file transfers all those files to secondary, because it is just a duplicate, backup, replica. Any given zone can have as many secondary servers as necessary. Why? To provide load balancing, fault tolerance, traffic reduction. Like from one source may not be trusted, but that source says that Google maintain 12 secondary servers, proxies. It may not be correct or accurate. Like this, one server to maintain the traffic, to maintain the congestion, it can maintain as many secondary servers as it requires. Then what is caching DNS server? For time saving purpose, for extraction to happen in less time, this caching DNS server, caching itself says that prefetching, means like for packet switching we say load and store, store and forward. In the same way, caching DNS servers or caching only servers serve only cached queries. Cached means prefetched queries. Already, if that query related response is saved, it is already there. Such responses can be automatically replied by this caching server for DNS responses as their name suggests. Right. And they do not maintain zone files as secondary servers do, because it's a security issue. They perform queries, cache the answers, return the results to the querying client instead of keeping zone files. Zone files are not maintained by the caching server. Instead, those responses, answers are maintained. So if when we refresh, when we are giving the same request, duplicate request, instead the main server spend time to respond to it, caching server respond. So we have two classifications for the DNS servers. As per one classification, it is given resolver, root level, top level and authoritative DNS servers. As per the other classification, primary, secondary and caching DNS servers. This is what about types of DNS servers, guys. I hope the concept of DNS servers is clear now. Thank you so much, and please do like the session, share and subscribe to our BEP YouTube channel and enable your notifications. Okay, thank you so much for watching it. If you have any doubts regarding this, you can mention in the chat box or in my Telegram group. I would be happy to answer you. Stay tuned to BYJU'S Exam Prep. Thank you. Have a great time. Take care. Bye bye.